Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to shoot a short video in response to the one name for one name aspect of this past Sunday, and I appreciate you writing down that you wanted to know more. When we talked on Sunday, it was about getting better at having connections and conversations with people that are either disconnected from God or they don't know God yet. For us, especially in this culture, maybe you grew up and Jesus was shared in an awkward way or a weird way or a confrontational way. And so really what we found is to get Jesus's name to influence other people, to even connect other people with his name. A lot of times it's based on understanding and knowing God's story. Like most of the time in the Bible Belt, you mainly hear the problem with the story, which is, yes, absolutely, we're all sinners. We're going to hell without God. We've heard that part forever, and it's an essential part. But what's a bigger part is God's story, like the whole story. Like in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So we have to understand that there was creation. Then there was the fall, and that was disobedience between Adam and Eve. Romans 5:12 that talks about when Adam sinned, sin entered the entire human race. And so there's a problem, but then we have the solution. You have creation, fall, then rescue. That's where God sends himself as Jesus Christ as a human being. He lives a perfect life. He helps people. He heals people. But then he's crucified and buried, but he comes back and is resurrected. Like that's the best news in God's story. And then there's going to be recreation toward the end of this life as we know it, when there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. So really God's story includes so much more than just we're sinners and we need Jesus. Like there's a whole bigger picture, and really it answers the question that most people have holistically and cognitively and spiritually, emotionally, on all those levels, is where am I from and why am I here? Like what is my purpose? And when we grasp God's full story, the whole story, it helps as we begin to have conversations and to connect with people. The other aspect that is really important in conversations and connections is your story. Like, what was your life like before Jesus? Then how did Jesus come into your life? And then what is going on now where God is influencing you and teaching you and helping you? And I always like to say it this way, your God story is more than just your salvation. It's more than just you being saved. It's really about how God is faithful to you now. It's about moments where he's answered a prayer. Like for me and my wife, we talk about a miscarriage that we had in 2012, and it was really hard, and I was angry at God, and it was a painful moment in our life, but I learned to trust him through that process, and I saw the church, people that are coming to our West Market campus who have also had miscarriages kind of embrace me and love on me and pray for me. And so that's part of my story now. It's more than just my moment where Jesus saved me. And I always challenge people to write your story out in 100 words or less, but include those aspects of your life before, how you came to know Jesus, and your life after. Another aspect with connections and conversations is really good questions. Like Jesus was asked over 189 questions. He only responded to 2 of those questions, but then in turn asked 223 more questions. Like questions are key. It's not just your information and your knowledge and your thoughts. It's asking questions to kind of unlock people's hearts. I like to ask, like, what's your story? Have you always felt that way? Did something happen in your life to make you not want to come back to church? And if so, and you've encountered that, then what would it take to bring you back? If anything in your life could change, what would it be? And how can I help you with that change? Just questions. It's amazing how questions really unlock where people are, maybe feelings that they've had, maybe issues that they've had, and it gives you the opportunity to really listen. And that's the 4th aspect of connections and conversations. We're listening to the Holy Spirit, but we're also listening to that person wherever they're at. And here's what's interesting. People are most open spiritually in cycles or rhythms of pain or problems. That's when they're open to God the most. So as you're asking questions, you're given an opportunity and kind of a platform to really hear where they're at and empathize with them, and then to kind of speak maybe a part of your God story, because that's the second part with questions and testimonies, kind of meeting them where they're at. Like, hey, I totally understand how you feel, and I'm sorry that you've went through this, and miscarriages are hard, and I understand the pain, and me and my wife also went through that, and I just want to let you know, like, we're hurting with you, we're hurting for you. Is there any way that we can pray for you? So really, as you listen to the Holy Spirit, and as you listen to people, and you ask those questions, and you understand the big picture, the big story, you have an opportunity to speak life into other people's lives wherever they're at. Also, thinking next steps. That's not really part of the 4 things with connections and conversations, but thinking next steps, like, this is where this person is. Is their next step just simply being prayed for? Is it a text later in the week? Is it an invitation to church? Is it me spending more time with them, maybe over coffee, maybe inviting them to our home? And really, I believe God puts disciplable people into our lives, and really it's just being available when those people are there. So that's just a few things. We'll unpack that more as we go through the year. I want to encourage you with this book, Outside the Bible, with Conversations and Connections. I Once Was Lost, that was written by Don Everts and Doug Schaupp. They were campus residents in campuses in Colorado and Southern California. And this is an amazing book on meeting people exactly where they are. Maybe they're agnostic or atheist, or maybe they've had a bad church experience, or maybe just a bad life moment. Meeting them exactly where they are, and connecting with them and helping them take next steps. So thank you for writing 1 on your connection card. If you have any questions, or if you need some other tools from me, I would love to help you with that. I can email you pretty quickly. And I'm going to pray for you today that God would guide you to find that one name, and that He'll use you to introduce them to His one name. Have an outstanding week. Talk to you soon.